Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Guidental. This is Dr. Saib Singh. So the subject for today's video is going to be oral pathology. This subject is being discussed in three parts. This is the first part or the first video for the subject. Whatever topics I'll be discussing in my video are also mentioned in my blog by the name of Guidental. So, starting with the first topic of cysts of oral cavity. Here you need to know the definition of a cyst by Kramer, parts of a cyst, classification of cyst in detail, that is a cyst of jaws, maxillary antrum and the soft tissues. Two MCQs that could be asked is, three MCQs that could be asked are, most common odontogenic cyst is radicular cyst, most common developmental cyst is dentigerous cyst, most common non-odontogenic cyst is nasopalatine duct cyst or incisive canal cyst. Coming to dentigerous cyst, here you need to know the etiopathogenesis in detail. The clinical features any 3 to 4. Radiological features, soap bubble appearance and the radiological types have to be studied with diagrams. Histopathology has to be done in detail with diagrams. Complications, only 3 complications you can remember, that is ameloblastoma, epidermoid carcinoma and mucoepidermoid carcinoma. Only these 3 names, that is the complications of dentigerous cyst. Next is eruption cyst. Here you need to know the definition, clinical features, that is site, age group and eruption hematoma. In histopathology, you need to focus on the type of epithelium, connective tissue and the basophilic ground substance in eruption cyst. Next is lateral periodontal cyst. Here you need to know etiopathogenesis in detail. Clinical features, you just need to know 2, that is it is found between the cuspids and bicuspids and it is associated with a vital tooth. In radiographic features, you need to know in detail. And histopathology, you just need to know or describe about the epithelial lining. The next is boteroid odontogenic cyst. In the definition, you should know that it is a polycystic variant of lateral periodontal cyst. In radiological features have to be done in detail. Histopathology, it is the same as lateral periodontal cyst with the only exception that boteroid cyst has focal thickening plaques of proliferating lining cells in epithelium projecting into lumen. Only this particular feature I mentioned in my blog also, you can see from there. So only this feature is distinguishes this cyst from the lateral periodontal cyst. The rest of the features are exactly the same. Next is a very important long note that could be asked is odontogenic keratocyst or abbreviated as OKC. So here you need to know about origin, clinical features, radiographic features and histopathology in detail with diagrams. Next is calcifying odontogenic cyst, that is COC, or it is also known as calcifying epithelial odontogenic cyst, that is CEOC. You should know it is given by Gorlin and co-workers, and the cystic variants given by Praetorius have to be done in detail. There is a classification basically. Histopathology again has to be done in detail with diagram and do mention about the ghost cells. The next is gingival cyst of newborn. Here you need to know the definition, clinical features, that is morphology, sites of Epstein pearls, Bohn's nodules and gingival cyst of newborn. In histopathology, once again you need to know about the epithelial lining and the lumen. Next is gingival cyst of adult. Here you need to know the definition, clinical features, that is site and morphology, radiological features, that is there is only one, that is the superficial cupping out of alveolar bone. The next is radicular cyst or periapical cyst or apical periodontal cyst. Here you need to know the pathogenesis in detail. Radiological features, it is identical to periapical granuloma. Don't just write this in the radiological features, you have to explain it in detail. This is just a extra line or a line that can fetch you more marks, that the radiological features of a radicular cyst is identical to periapical granuloma, but you have to explain the radiological features in detail. The histopathology once again in detail with diagrams, and residual and periodontal cyst, only the definitions have to be done. It's a part of radicular cyst only, that's why you need to mention it. Next is nasolabial or nasoalveolar or Klestad's cyst. Here you need to know definition, pathogenesis, clinical features in brief, any 2 points. Next, nasopalatine duct cyst or nasopalatine canal cyst or incisive canal cyst. Here you need to know the pathogenesis, clinical features, mention about the through and through fluctuation and the most common site, that is the midline of palate. In radiological features, have to be done in detail. Do mention about the inverted pear or heart-shaped appearance. That's very important. Coming to non-epithelial or pseudocysts, you need to know three. That is traumatic bone cyst, aneurysmal bone cyst, and developmental lingual mandibular salivary gland depression or Staphyne bone cyst. So, in traumatic bone cyst, you need to know about the etiopathogenesis related to the medullary space of bone and disorganization of blood clot. That etiopathogenesis. Clinical features, you just need to know that on opening surgically, traces of straw colored fluid or an empty cavity is found. Just mention this one clinical feature is very important. In radiological features, mention that it has a scalloped and lobulated appearance and draw a diagram. A pencil diagram will do. That's it. In aneurysmal bone cyst or ABC, you should know it was given by Jaffe and Lichtenstein. Origin you have to know related to trauma. Clinical features, you should know that it shows eggshell cracking and it is found in the mandibular molar ramus area. In radiological features, you need to know about honeycomb or soap bubble appearance. Histopathology, you need to know it resembles a blood-soaked sponge with large spores. So you have to explain this histopathological feature in detail. In Staphyne bone cyst, you need to know the definition, radiographic site, not the features, just the site, and the features 1 or 2. Don't need to go in detail. The site is more important. So radiology, only the site and 1 or 2 features will do. The next topic or the next chapter is odontogenic tumors of oral cavity. Here you need to know the definition of odontogenic tumor, modified WHO classification of odontogenic tumors. In ameloblastoma, adamantinoma, you need to know the Robinson's criteria. You need to know that term ameloblastoma was given by Churchill. The pathogenesis, the subclassification of ameloblastoma given by Barnes, B-A-R-N-E-S, Barnes. An important point is that the clinical features, histopathology, radiographical features we describe in our exams or that is taught to us in our lectures is of conventional multicystic intraosseous ameloblastoma. So this is the type of the major type of ameloblastoma that you usually describe in your exams. But in the classification there are various kinds of ameloblastoma that you will study. In your books it is given. In clinical features, you need to know about the site of ameloblastoma and the eggshell cracking feature. In radiological features, only explain about the honeycomb or soap bubble appearance. Histopathology has to be done in detail. All the subtypes along with Vickers-Gorlin criteria with diagrams. This the whole histopathology, especially the Vickers-Gorlin criteria is very important. Coming to adenomatoid odontogenic tumor or AOT, you need to know the clinical features. It is associated with an impacted tooth, and the anterior maxilla is the most common site. In histopathology, explain about the epithelial lining, lumen contents, that is eosinophilic coagulum, and rosette pattern of cells. The next is calcifying epithelial odontogenic tumor or CEOT or Pindberg tumor. So in clinical features, you need to know the site and that it is associated with an impacted tooth. In radiological features, explain about honeycomb appearance and snow-driven appearance. In histopathology, explain about the polyhedral epithelial cells, intercellular bridges, and Lees-Gang rings of calcification. Next is odontoma or composite odontoma. You need to know definition, difference between compound and complex odontoma, and histopathology. Two things you need to explain: the ghost cells, which is very important, and the normal appearing dental tissues. That's it. Next topic is the next chapter is salivary gland tumors. You need to know classification of salivary gland tumors, that is benign and malignant. Any 5 to 6 tumors under each. Pleomorphic adenoma, you should know it is the most common salivary gland tumor. Pathogenesis, just you should know the origin of the tumor cells. Clinical features, you should know the most common sites and the morphology of tumor mass. In histopathology, you should know about the foot and Frazel classification and the description of this classification, the subtypes in this classification. In complication, you should know that it can develop into a carcinoma, which is why the radiotherapy is contraindicated in pleomorphic adenoma. This might be asked as an MCQ. Next is Warthin tumor. You should know that its synonym, that it is also known as papillary cyst adenoma lymphomatosum. It is the second most common tumor of salivary glands. The pathogenesis you need to know. The clinical features, you need to know about the site, morphology of tumor mass, Lumen contents that is a creamy white or brown chocolate color fluid. In histopathology, describe the epithelial lining and lumen in detail with diagrams. Next is mucoepidermoid carcinoma. Here you need to know that it is the most common malignant epithelial tumor of salivary gland. The previous two, pleomorphic and Watkin, were benign tumors. Clinical features you need to know about the site, clinical subtypes, that is low grade and high grade, and the difference between the two, low grade and high grade, based on the signs and symptoms. Histopathology, once again in detail, the types of cells and histopathological grading of mucoepidermoid carcinoma along with diagrams. Next is adenoid cystic carcinoma. You should know that it is also known as cylindroma, that's a synonym. Its origin is from ductal and myoepithelial cells. Clinical features do the site, signs and symptoms of lesion on adjacent structures. In histopathology, the names of the subtypes and cribriform or classic histopathology has to be explained in detail with the diagrams. Do mention about the Swiss cheese or honeycomb appearance or the pattern. The next chapter is developmental disturbances of soft tissues. The classification of developmental disturbances has to be done in detail, that is the disturbances of lips, palate, oral mucosa, tongue and salivary glands. The first developmental disturbance is commisural pits and fistulas. So here you need to know the etiology, clinical features, that is morphology and sites. Double lip again definition, clinical features, site, morphology, Cupid's bow appearance, and it is associated with Ascher syndrome. Cheilitis glandularis, the definition, clinical features, again sites and clinical subtypes. Cheilitis granulomatosa, it is associated with Meesker syndrome and Melchior-Rosenthal syndrome, and the morphology of the labial swelling has to be done in cheilitis granulomatosa. The next is hereditary intestinal polyposis or Peutz-Jeghers syndrome. So the chromosomal etiology has to be known, which chromosome is involved basically. The clinical features, you describe the pattern of macules and intestinal polyposis in detail, and the complication, there is only one, that is elevated risk of GI or gastrointestinal carcinoma. For Fordyce's granules, next topic, only the definition you need to know what it is, that's it. For Viva they may ask you. Focal epithelial hyperplasia or Hex disease, the clinical site and the morphology of lesions. Retrocuspid papilla, definition. Macroglossia, the types and the associated syndromes, only the names of the syndromes. In Chyloglosia, cleft tongue and fissure tongue, only the definitions. Median rhomboid glossitis, you need to know etiology, clinical features and histopathology in brief, 2 to 3 points each. Benign migratory glossitis, you need to know its synonym, that it is also known as geographic tongue. The etiology is mainly stress, so just mention stress. Clinical features have to be done in detail. In hairy tongue, you need to know definition and clinical features related to the papilla. Oncocytosis, definition of an oncocyte, what is an oncocyte, and the site of oncocytosis. The next chapter is developmental disturbances of heart tissues. So once again, the classification of developmental disturbances of heart tissues have to be done in detail. Now micrognathia and macrognathia, only the types you should know and the clinical features of the types, that's it. Facial hemihypertrophy and facial hemiatrophy, you need to know the intraoral features, and coupe de Sabre, that is a feature of facial hemiatrophy, so that you need to explain in detail. Microdontia and macrodontia, only the subtypes and the most common teeth involved. Do mention about the peg laterals. Gemination, fusion, concrescence, dilaceration and talons cusp, the definition, clinical features and diagram. Dens indentate, dens invaginatus, also known as Lyong's premolar, the sites, pathogenesis and the clinical significance, not the features, the clinical significance is important. Why is it important in dentistry? Taurodontism or bull-like teeth, classification with diagrams, etiology, any one or two etiology, clinical significance once again, and radiological features. Anodontia, only the subtypes. Supernumerary teeth, classification, most common teeth involved, and any two associated syndromes, only the names of the syndromes. Amelogenesis imperfecta, types and definitions of the subtypes, clinical and histopathological features of enamel in each of the subtypes. Environmental enamel hypoplasia, names of all the 8 etiologies has to be known. Features related to congenital syphilis and trauma to be studied in detail, that is Mulberry molars, Hutchinson's incisors and Turner's teeth. So these you have to explain in detail. The rest of the etiologies only names. Dentinogenesis imperfecta, shields and the revised classification, radiological features in detail, and histopathological features in brief. Dentin dysplasia or rootless teeth, the classification, clinical features only related to the color or the hue of teeth, that's it. Radiological features have to be done in detail. Histopathology, explain about lava flowing around boulders and cascading of dentin. These two features are peculiar to this thing, dental dysplasia. So you should know, explain these in detail. And in the type 1, it is found in type 1 dentin dysplasia. Regional odontodysplasia, the definition, teeth involved, and the radiological ghost teeth appearance has to be explained in detail. So thank you so much for watching the video. This was the end for the first part or the first video on oral pathology. If you found this video to be useful, please like, share and subscribe to my channel Guide Dental for further updates. Thank you so much.